Hi everyone. This week we are going to be talking about unity and variety in design. So unity is the commonality among elements in design. Variety are the variations within the elements of design. So these are the first, no, they're not the first looks, but they are 4 looks from Dries Van Noten from spring 2020. And I like these looks because it's really easy to kind of tell the elements of unity and variety here. So here we see this pattern, this kind of zigzaggy pattern that gets repeated over most of these looks, not this one, okay, maybe down in here, but it's still connected because they're all black and white. That's what adds a kind of unity to these looks. Now, variety, we've got this pattern here that adds some variety, this pop of pink, okay? So unity is what holds a design together, and variety is what keeps it interesting. So this is a living room designed by Pearson Ward, an interior design company. And this is a great example of unity and variety. So as we look in here, okay, what is unifying this are these warm tones. Okay, so we've got this, the couches are kind of this beigey color, the wood walls, even this kind of rosy pink in the rug. We've got a lot of warm tones. It's kind of bringing it all together. Texture as well. The texture of all the furniture is very soft and kind of plush looking, almost like velvet, that unifies it all together. Now, what adds variety? Okay, the pops of blue in the rug really bring some variety in. Okay, this texture, even this kind of cross grain texture here, is unlike anything that's in this room, and that adds some variety. The green, little pops of green add in a kind of freshness and a little bit of variety. Okay, so color, pattern, texture, these are ways that we can add unity and variety into our designs. Okay, I want to look at the 2020 collection by Miu Miu. So let's go to that. All right, so we can just kind of look at it here as a whole, okay? And then we'll look at some individual looks. So as we look here, okay, the first 4 looks, a lot of black and white, very structured. As we move through it, starting to get some fur in here. Now these jackets are basically the same, but one is in a green and one is in this beige. Still very structured, okay? Kind of structured ladylike looks, but actually as we get into this one, I'll click on this one. So again, this is very structured, kind of similar to what we were looking at before, but this introduction of the pattern, there's also a lot of accessories going on here. Let's click through a couple of these. Again, black and white, structure, a little more feminine, adds in a little variety, but again, this pattern is one that we saw a couple of looks ago, so it connects everything together. Again, very structured, black and white, big silhouettes. This is a little bit different, okay? We've got much more form-fitting, kind of frilly and feminine, but still in black, so it's connected to the rest of the collection. Here, bringing in a new kind of texture, all right? So it's still black, but this the addition of this like leather or kind of pleather even is adding in some variety. Pop a yellow there. This little addition to this dress is unlike anything that we've seen so far, and even this pattern isn't like anything we've seen. It's still very structured, still dealing with black, but we're bringing in some different elements to add a little variety. This is another kind of similar to that, what we just saw, this kind of almost like a bustle that's added. Very structured, oversized. Back to a kind of more feminine look. And here, let's close this out. I'm going to scroll back through. This is a big collection, so, but I want to get a feel for this and how designers start adding unity and variety. Now, if you start to look in here, we're starting to get some more color, okay? So we've got some pinks, turquoise, some really kind of wild colors. Now let's look at this look. This is unlike anything we've seen so far. A completely different pattern, not near as structured, very flowy, okay? Now for some people, this look may seem completely out of nowhere. It may add too much variety. For others, it's like, wow, that's really a breath of fresh air after all of these kind of black and white structured looks. So this can be a little bit subjective, and you need to be thinking about this. You know, you're showing your own style. Adding more or less variety can kind of give a little bit of who you are and your personality. All right, so let's go back here. Let's do another one. I want to look at this this house. Okay, I pulled this from House and Garden. It's the home of Victoria von Westenholz, who is a designer. And let's just kind of look at these images. So right away, this is the entryway and this is the sitting room. Right away, what's connecting these? So a lot of bold color, all right? Bright red, bright blue, bright green. Graphic elements, we've got this stripe here, another stripe here, even this stripe kind of going up the stairs here, that trim is connecting all of this together. These pillows here, these are very graphic. Okay, so a lot of graphic elements. Also, the light fixture, okay, we've got this light fixture here is the same as this one. So a lot of designers will use either the same, pillows or light fixtures or colors to connect from room to room and add unity to a space. So what adds variety? Let's see. The florals, even though these are in the same color, it's kind of nice to see a little bit of a floral. Let's see. Even these books, they're kind of haphazard and fun. And throwing things like that in there bring in a little bit of variety. So as we move through the space, all right, this is a kind of sitting dining area. This is a little bit different from what we've been looking at. Now again, still using green, but it's a lot softer. We've got some graphic elements in here with the tile, but this is much softer than what we were looking at, say, here. This is another view of the sitting room. You can really see those graphic elements. But the use of florals, again, kind of softens it up and also kind of connects into this, okay? So we start kind of bold, we start to soften up, and then as we move into the bedrooms, it gets very soft. So much less about graphic patterns. Now we still have some, okay? So it's connecting everything together. This stripe is really kind of being used throughout all of these rooms. But this is a lot softer. The colors are softer. The prints are smaller. They're not as bold. Let's see. And these are two more bedrooms. Again, we've got a stripe, okay? Kind of got a stripe here too. So that graphic element keeps getting picked up throughout every room. This is much softer than what we were looking at in the kind of common areas. So that brings some variety into the space. Now, again, some people might say this is too much variety. I don't like how we go from these bold spaces into these soft spaces, okay? But some people might say, you know what, I really like that contrast. I really need that to keep it interesting. So again, this is kind of subjective and it comes down to your personality, your style. Some people like a lot of variety, some people don't, okay? So we looked at that. Okay, so let's talk about the assignment. So your assignment this week, you have two parts of the assignment. So I want you to read chapter 11 in your textbook. This is the chapter on unity and variety, and it goes into detail about what we've talked about here in the lecture. I want you to find a fashion collection or a furniture collection, a wallpaper collection, whatever, something that interests you. Try to find something recent. Spring 2020 would be good. Some people have even got the fall stuff out. Find something recent, okay? So what unifies this collection? Is it the color? Is it pattern? Is it texture even? What gives it variety? In your opinion, is there too much variety or does it need more? Is the collection working as a whole or not? I want you to write one page on this analysis of a collection and upload it to the Dropbox by Thursday before class. I want you to include a link to the collection you are analyzing. You don't need to add photos, but I do want to see a link so that I can get an idea of what you're looking at and what you're talking about. So, for your weekly project, I want you to compile at least 12 images of different types of a single object. For example, different types of chairs, different types of dresses, different types of plants, whatever. Arrange these into a grid-like composition to create unity and variety. Consider cropping some of the images to focus in on areas that enhance unity or variety in the composition or grid. So I'm going to show you some examples. This is an image actually I pulled from the internet. It's by an artist. And these are kind of like photo negatives that they've collaged together. And what gives them unity is the kind of the black and white. But really what adds variety is the difference in shapes and also in tone. So some are much more saturated than others. Okay, and this is for someone that's maybe a little more minimal, okay, wants to stick to black and white. Here is another collage. These are like little buttons or little lures. I can't really, some of them seem like lures, that are on cards and then collaged together. So that's really what gives them unity, is that they're basically all the same kind of type of object. But what adds variety is color and also pattern. You see how some of them have a pattern in the background. And that keeps your eye moving through the design. This is, I'm sorry guys, this is a little bit grainy, but I like this as an example because this is from the U of M website. It is images of students around campus. You know what, now I'm thinking this may not be from U of M. Okay, sorry, can't remember. I pulled this last year, but anyway, so it's from a college website and it's got images from around campus, okay? But they're connected through color, and the size of the scale is different, which adds a little bit of variety. Here's another one. This is much more abstract, so you can definitely go that route if you want. They've honed in on really textures. You can't really tell what these are, but they seem kind of geographical, like land masses or something, mountains perhaps. So it's much more about texture. And then they're contrasted with these flat areas of color. So that adds unity and variety into this composition. Now this is one that I made as an example. These are all images that I pulled of pillows. I tried to keep them mostly in the same color palette, so I used creams and blues, but then I added in some pops of orange to add some variety. I also added in, instead of making them all kind of square, I wanted to add in some circular shapes, so I just went in and cut out and made some circles, which adds some variety to my composition. Also, some of them, it's easy to tell that they're pillows, like this image here. But then some of them I've zoomed in, so all you can see is the pattern, or all you can see is this kind of texture. Okay, so think about ways you can crop or zoom in to give it some variety. So this is some past student work on this assignment. Okay, this here is another kind of pillow project. This was an interior design student, and you see that she has used a lot of similar types of pillows, but again, she's cropped in on some of them. Some of them are kind of moving in different directions. Here we've got very feminine floral dresses, mostly in black and white, but then these pinks and purples. And you notice too how she's created this X through the composition, which is really interesting. So think about ways that you can use color to almost make a shape. Here we have these kind of funky go-go boots. This is what unifies everything together, but color and size and scale are what adds variety. Now this is really great too. The same person over and over and over again, but always in sunglasses, but in different poses, okay? And also see she's repeated the same image twice. So this is an interesting composition. Okay, last two. This was a student who did all images of nails. So you'll notice that every single one has nails in them, okay? But I really like this image because you can barely tell that the nails are a part of it. So that really adds some variety. I like this flame image too because that's unlike anything that we've seen here, okay? But it is still connected to all these images, right? The color, lots of reds, lots of oranges, okay? And then some different, this like little bit of blue, and then this crop in on the face, that adds some variety. Now this is a student just kind of compiled images from Balenciaga. I don't want you to do this per se because I think that in a collection, there's going to be inherent unity and variety. I want you to be creating that. But this is an interesting one to look at because you can see the pops of red and green that add variety in these kind of like structured suit-like, very business-like looks, okay? So it's all connected, and also the background connects it, okay?